Chloe, and today I'm going to be doing my November wrap-up. This is also the one Readathon to rule them all wrap-up, but that extended into the first day of December, so the first day of December is now the last day of November. That's just the way the world works. There's nothing I can do about it. Before I get into what I read in November, the song from the last video was Cake by the Ocean by DNCE. Is it dance? Do you say the letters? Is it dance? I don't know. I don't know these things. Why do you have stupid names for bands that nobody knows? I don't know. I don't know. These are the things that keep me up at night. Anyways, where was I going with this? To be quite honest, the books are stacked next to me, not in the order that I read them in, just in a totally random order. So that's the way I'm gonna show them, because that's just the way it's gonna work. Pause. I'm running reading sprints right now. So we're gonna have them all willy-nilly. I just said willy-nilly. I've turned into a 90-year-old white man. Okay, that's how this video is gonna go. I read 9 books in the month of November plus December 1st. I managed to finish all of the challenges for the one Readathon to rule them all. I didn't read the last book that I wanted to. I'm actually still reading it, but I can shuffle around another one so that I have all of the challenges completed. Now that that is out of the way, let's get into this wrap up. The first book that I have here is one that I read in January, I think it was January, and now reread to get to the next book, the one that I'm still reading. This one is The Last Name Sarah by Kristen Ciccarelli. This one completed the challenge of Fangorn Forest, where you needed to read a book with a magical or supernatural creature. This book is all about dragons, and we'll say that it's Mordor as well, where you just need to read any fantasy book. This one is a definite 5 stars. I loved it just as much as the first time, although the main character, I kind of hate her, but like I kind of love her, but she's a whiny little bitch, but I don't know. I'm torn. By the end, I really liked her though. It was just like the beginning, the middle, 3/4, 7/8. Most of it, I didn't like her. Really plain? Rude. Woo! Next, I have City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I think that's it. This one fulfilled the challenge of I just read it, but I forget already. Let's check. Bree to read a fantasy book set in a non-European setting, as well as Isengard, a fantasy book with a morally gray or such point of view. Wow, bless me. I need it. Anyways, this one I gave 5 stars as well. I absolutely loved everything about it. The world building was amazing. The characters were just beautiful. I mean, like, yes, physically, but also just the beautifully written characters. What the hell am I saying? I'm really happy though that I got to this one. I did, because from what I know, the next book's coming out in January, and I don't have to wait a million years for a sequel. The sun is being stupid right now. I apologize once again for Mother Nature being Mother Nature, but like, you were cloudy all day long. Now you want to come out and do this? I'm sick of you. The next book I have here is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This one fulfills the challenge of the Shire, where you need to reread a favorite, and which one was it? The Indie Press. Let's see. I'm doing great here. Lorien. This was published by Scholastic, which is not really an indie press at all, but it's not one of the big 5. As always, 5 stars. I cried all the way through because I always knew what was coming, and like several chapters before I would start crying before I knew what was coming, because I'm just not emotionally prepared. I was gonna reread the rest of the series, but I don't know if I can right now, just because I'm so emotionally unprepared. I don't know if I have that in me to do all that to myself. The next book is one that I did not use for the one Readathon to rule them all because it's not fantasy. This one is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This was 5 stars, but it was a very weird 5 stars for me. If you've seen my huge book haul, or if you've seen any of my other videos talking about They Both Die at the End or Adam Silvera in general, he seems like a wonderful person. I just don't love his writing style. I don't know what it is about it, but something just doesn't click. The same thing happened in this one. I knew immediately which parts he wrote. I didn't like the writing style. The book was kind of dragging because of that, but somehow I just got into it and it didn't bother me anymore. I don't know. It was a weird experience all the way around because I didn't hate it, but I think I just kind of ignored it by the end. I don't know how to explain this, but I did end up giving this 5 stars. It was, or like 4.5. I don't know. It was almost perfect. I didn't love the ending, but other than that, it was a solid contemporary. It was exactly what I needed. It was super cute. I loved the characters, even though I kind of hated the characters. Is the trend? The characters like really annoyed me most of the time, but I still kind of loved them. Maybe I'm just easily annoyed. Actually that's it. I'm very very easily annoyed by a lot of things, but it ended up being annoying in a way that worked. I swear this is the 4th time the school bus has driven by. I don't know what's going on. Next, I have another one that I didn't read for the one readathon to rule them all because, again, contemporary. This one is The Royal Runaway. I can never say this. This alliteration is too much for me. The Royal Runaway by Lindsay Emery. I think I ended up giving this one a 3.5. It was super cheesy. It was exactly what I expected it to be. Doesn't mean it was amazing. It was so obvious what was happening right from the beginning and who was behind everything. It really did feel like an adult version of The Princess Diaries, which is everything I expected from this book. It hit the mark in that sense, but the rest of it just wasn't that great. I found myself not really paying attention at some points. It's kind of like watching one of those Hallmark Christmas movies where you just have it on in the background and you pay attention, but you're like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Why am I paying attention? That's what this experience was for me. The main reason it didn't get a higher rating though is because it was really just forgettable. The main character's name is Thea. I remember that because it bothered the out of me because Thea means aunt in Greek. So whenever I was reading this, I was thinking of the one aunt specifically that I referred to only as Thea, my great aunt, which made things weird because pants come off and I don't want to think about my great aunt like that. You feel me? It was just too much for me. I don't remember any of the other characters' names. I think the country is called Readathon. Not 100% sure though. So it didn't stick. It was cute. I read it. I moved on. That's why it's not getting a higher rating. The next book fulfilled the challenge of Morio to read a grimdark book. This one is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang? I don't know. I am not 100% sure. I'm like 0% sure here. This one was 5 stars as well. It was horrific, maybe is the word I'm looking for. It was gruesome. It was awful, but it was so well written. The world is amazing. It's just when you remember that this is based on actual Chinese history and some of the shit that these people were doing, it's like I want to vomit that people are actually capable of this, and this is not just fantasy. It's not just made up. It's disgusting, really, the things that people were doing, and I can't even think about it, but it was so good. I loved the characters, I loved the setting, I loved the writing style. I need the next book now, but at the same time, I don't want it because I can't go back into this world because it still is too real. I think part of the reason why I really did like this though is that I love history and I love learning about history that I had no idea about. I know nothing about East Asian history at all. I know North American history, I know European history, that's about it. That's all we were taught in school and that's all that I've read about on my own. This though is making me want to read everything about the history of the rest of the world, especially Chinese history right now. I want to know how accurate this was and just how shit people really can be. But like, I'm gonna hate reading it, so why do I do this to myself? I don't know. The next book fulfills the challenges of Rivendell and Gondor. Rivendell, you needed to read a book with LGBTQIA+ rep, and Gondor is people of color rep. This one is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha. Still have not learned how to say this name. My god. I'm dropping the ball here, boys and girls. Dropping the ball. This was 5 stars as well. I loved this setting. I loved the world building. I really liked the romance. I hated the king. Wanted to kill him myself. Something about the main character though, again, I've been finding this with YA a lot lately. I don't know why. Ugh. Some of these characters are just so stubborn and hard-headed, and it's just like, can you not for 5 seconds and just try to use your brain, maybe? I don't know. Then again, they are teenagers, but at the same time, like, do better, man. The next book fulfills the challenge of Helm's Deep to read a standalone, and Rohan, which is to read a book with a female main character. This one is Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas. I gave this one a 4 stars, possibly a 5 stars. I don't know yet. The main reason is because Selena Kyle's sister has cystic fibrosis. I will leave a link down below where you can read all about what that is. It's horrible, to say the least. My aunt has CF, and reading this was a little bit too real for me because a lot of the descriptions were exactly what my aunt looked like at her worst, when she was literally drowning in her own lungs and dying. It was a struggle to actually push through and read this because it brought me back to that terrible, terrible time. Really, Tallulah? So, this was hard for me to get through, especially the ending. If you haven't read this, stop here. Unless you want to be spoiled, then go for it. But at the end, her sister is magically cured, and that's just not accurate. It's just so unrealistic because there is no cure for CF, and it made me so fucking angry reading that, thinking that they get to live this happy life where everything is just sunshine and roses and she'll never have CF again. Like, come on. That is just, it's offensive in a way because it's so unattainable for families like mine. The reality is, yes, my aunt had a double lung transplant. Yes, her lungs are free of CF, but the rest of her body is not. And she is never going to be okay. And there's a very good chance that her son will grow up without her because of this horrible disease. And the fact that they make it where it's something that can be cured and it's something that only happens to this one person and they don't make it available like an actual cure for everyone sucks ass. Also, there was nothing at the back describing CF or links to anything to raise awareness for this horrible, horrible disease. That's why I couldn't give it 5 stars. I like the rest of it though. Of course, right before my last book, my battery dies and my memory card runs out. Jesus. All the time. Anyways, the last book that I have for November is one of the best books that I've read all year long. This one is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Obvious 5 stars. I am still not okay. Holy shit. There's just... I'll have a whole video just talking about this with my reactions and a final wrap-up review therapy session. With that, we've come to the end of my November/December 1st / the one readathon to rule them all wrap-up. Not TBR. I almost said TBR. It's a wrap-up. Okay. This little piece of hair is pissing me off. Anyways, if you participated in the one readathon to rule them all, definitely let me know down below in the comments and let me know what you read for the readathon and for November in general. As always, to stay updated with my current reads and how I'm feeling about them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, all at your book nerd Zoe, which I will leave linked down below in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and get at least a little bit of uninterrupted reading time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!